Hello. I thought I'd take a few minutes. I went to Costco with Lisa today. Just got back from there. It was kind of an interesting experience. I hadn't done a lot of shopping. I feel bad for all the people out there that have to go shopping, all our wives and others that go shopping out there and have to deal with the garbage. I'm kind of sheltered from it because I don't do a lot of the shopping. Lisa does it, but I thought I'd go with her this one time to Costco here in Boise and grabbed a cart. And on our way in, a guy was standing there with masks. His job was to be the mask police, and we just refused, kind of ignored him. And he said, "You're not allowed in the warehouse without a mask." And this is nothing new, but we just kept walking, and he said it 2 or 3 times, kept walking. Went and did most of our shopping, and then a manager came up to us and said basically that we had to, he goes, we have an exemption for medical, so, basically all you have to do is say it's a medical issue, and, that's it. So he was trying to get us to say it was a medical reason why we didn't have the mask, and he says we can't ask a question, we can't ask what it is, which is right. But I ultimately told him I wouldn't lie to him. It wasn't anything to do with the medical. I believe that it was wrong, and I believe it's wrong for many reasons, and I believe that it's been become political, and that Costco shouldn't be requiring it. And he did say, which he's correct, that this is private property. So if you're not going to wear a mask, you need to leave. And I asked him, well, you're going to return my membership, fees. And he didn't say anything about it at first until further on in the conversation, when I said, well, you're going to have to trespass me and call the police in order for me to leave. And he was actually very, nice, and I was very nice. There was nothing heated. It was just conversation. And when I said that, he said, "Oh, well, then we'll return your membership fee." And I said, "Well, you're going to have to trespass me, and then you'll return it." And I understand that Costco is a private business, but I do believe that there's an issue here, and it's twofold. And I wanted to express a couple things. One is my wife and I were the only ones in the store without our mask on, and the way they were reacting is that no one had challenged that, except when they said it was medical, which is not the right way, in my opinion, to battle this. It's not about trying to get away with something. It's about making sure people understand right and wrong. And so I understand again that Costco is private property, but they also have about a third of the United States. Literally, they have almost 100 million members, which is about a third of the United States. Relies and depends upon them for their food supply. And my family, for multiple generations, and my entire adult life with my immediate family, has relied upon Costco to be a primary food supplier for us. And now they're using that as an advantage to push a political agenda. And if we don't comply, they cut us off of our food supply. And I'm not okay with that. I have a major issue with Costco doing that, saying that if I don't comply with their garbage, their political agenda coming out of Washington State, where Ensley is and where Costco's corporate offices are, if I don't comply anywhere in the United States, I don't get I get my food supply cut off from Costco. Well, the way I see it, I understand they're private property. They're a private business. But we have allowed them to come into our communities and to become a major food supplier for us. We never once believed in any way that they would start pushing a political agenda and cut off our food supply if we don't comply with it. That was never part of the deal, Costco. Never. And so I say you get out of our communities, or you start upholding liberty and freedom and start allowing people to go and get their food like they need to, without pushing a political agenda on us. Now, there's another reason why I said that I wasn't going to leave. That's reason number one. Reason number two is I wasn't going to leave Costco without them trespassing me and without the officers removing me from the property. And that is because if I was just to leave, I would have no standing or damages against them. But if they trespass me and then they arrest me, or the police trespass me, now I've got standing in the courts against them. And a lot of this might be exposed, even though I hate going into the courts and doing that, but now I have standing in the courts. And so I guess what I'm trying to get at is more people need to do this. More people need to insist to go into Costco or have them arrest them or whatever else store it is. Because these corporations are literally become a corptocracy where they're controlling people using a political agenda that has no basis whatsoever at all. I mean, let me give you a fact. Here in Idaho, more people died in 2019 than they have year to date in 2020, by a significant amount. But yet we've gone crazy here. You can't even go to the store without feeling like a 1933 Jewish man or woman. I mean, I really can sympathize with them a little bit. Also, again, this is nothing new, but they cannot test for COVID-19. There is no test that identifies COVID-19. Now, they can test whether you have coronavirus, but coronavirus has been identified since the 1920s. It's been around forever. It's never been an issue. But most of the people walking around with these ridiculous masks think that, all these numbers are about COVID-19, and they're not. Also, as you have seen, most states are actually anything that has a symptom of respiratory symptom like influenza or many of the others, they just automatically categorize it and say it's a coronavirus case or a COVID-19 case. Now, I don't need to reiterate this, but it is an absolute ridiculous thing that is going on. And I am concerned about companies corporations like Costco that are cutting off our food supply. I do not believe that they should be able to come into our communities and mandate their political agenda from another state, from Washington, where Inslee is there, and where they're absolutely crazy about basically medical tyranny, and come down into our states and mandate that we act and comply in a certain way when it is political. So that's where I'm at. I'm a little frustrated because most people are not pushing back on this, even though they know they should. If you have an obligation as a person, if you know it's wrong, to stand up to it. Stand for something. Stand for something. Say no and insist that you are able to purchase at a place that you have got your food supply for many, many years. That is important. That food supply cannot be cut off just because you will not comply to a political agenda. It is important. It's important that we say so, because guess what? If we will comply to a simple little mask, it's not a big deal, right? If we will comply to this, what will be next? If we will comply to that, what will be next? There's only one ending to this. Only one ending. And historically, I'll let you decide or go find out what that ending is. Anyway, thank you for all your love and support. I hope this has been clear enough that we need to stand, all of us. And you should never put a mask on, never. Never put a mask on. Unless you're in the garage working on a wood project, or you're running some heavy equipment or something that really needs it. Otherwise, don't put a mask on. Because what you're doing is you're saying it's okay for government to take your rights. That's exactly what you're doing. Because it is your right to decide how you will act according to putting a mask on or not a mask on, medically, all of those decisions. So I'll leave you with those thoughts. Thank you for your time.